Let's try to understand what we mean by perspective projection. As it is shown in this particular diagram here, so the objects, they are projected onto a view plane, and these points of projection or the projection lines, as you can see here, they are basically converging at one particular point, this particular point. So all the projection lines, they are converting from a given object, they are converging at this particular point. This point is called as the projection reference point. So this is the speciality of the perspective projections. So it is used to project the objects to the view plane. This is a view plane here. So we have the projections of the objects on the view plane. So along the converging paths, these paths are converging to a position called as a projection reference point. One more name for this particular point is called as the center of projection. So all the projection lines, they are converging at this particular point called as a projection reference point, and we are using this perspective projection to project the objects onto the view plane where the projection lines are converging at the point called as the projection reference point. We call this particular point with the acronym PRP, projection reference point. So objects are then displayed with foreshortening effects, and the projections of the distant objects are smaller than the projections of the objects that of the same size that are closer to the view plane. It's very clear from this particular diagram. So both these lines are almost of the same size. Do you observe that this line and this line, both these lines are of almost the same size? But since this line is farther away from the view plane, its projection will be of a smaller size. Do you observe that distance is more here? So this is the distance. The projection of this line will appear smaller, whereas the similar length of line which is placed closer to the view plane will appear larger. That is because the distance is shorter here. So based upon the distance of the object from the view plane, we can view the objects as larger or smaller. Okay, so projection of the distant objects that appear as smaller, whereas the projection of the objects that are closer to the view plane, they appear as larger. So that is the speciality of this perspective projection. Remember, in orthogonal projection we did not have these criteria. Irrespective of where the object is placed, whether it is placed near or far, it appeared the same. But that is not the case in case of perspective projections. The size of the objects depends upon the distance of the objects from the view plane. Because the projection paths are converging, as you can see here, they are meeting at this projection reference point. The the size of the object varies based upon where are you placing the object with respect to the view plane. The distance of the object from the view plane matters to determine the size of the object or the size of the projection on the view plane. So that is about the perspective projections. And let us try to understand the coordinates for the perspective projection transformation. Let us say we want to project a point, a spatial position x comma y comma z, which is represented by a point P. Now the point of convergence or the projection reference point for this particular point P is given as xPRP, yPRP, comma zPRP. What do I mean by PRP? It stands for projection reference point. So for a given point P equals to x comma y comma z, its projection reference point will be xPRP, yPRP, comma zPRP. Now this particular projection path, which is converging at this xPRP, yPRP and zPRP, is intersecting with the view plane at this particular point. Okay, this is a point of intersection of the projection path of the point x comma y comma z to a projection reference point, and the intersection of this path with the view plane is given as xp comma yp comma zp. We know what is the value of zp. What is the value of zp? It is the position of the view plane along the z-axis of the viewing coordinates. Okay, we can adjust the value of the zp in order to position the view plane. Now we need to determine the values for xp and yp coordinates. For that we have a set of equations here. So xp, which is the x coordinate of the point of intersection of the projection path with the view plane, is given as the x coordinate of the point x into the z coordinate of the projection reference point zPRP minus zvp, which is the z coordinate of the view plane, divided by z coordinate of the projection reference point zPRP minus the z coordinate of the point minus z. plus x coordinate of the projection reference point into zvp minus z divided by z coordinate of the projection reference point zprp minus z. So this is the equation to compute the x coordinate of the point of intersection of the projection path with the view plane. So xp is given as x coordinate of the point into the z coordinate of the projection reference point minus zvp divided by zprp minus z plus x coordinate of the projection reference point, that is xprp into zvp minus z divided by zprp minus z. Similarly, we have the equations for the y coordinate of this point on the view plane yp, which is given as y into zprp minus zvp divided by zvp minus z plus the y coordinate of the projection reference point yprp into zvp minus z divided by the zprp minus z. Observe only the x and y terms are changing here. Rest of the things are the same for these two equations. If you're calculating the x coordinate value, you replace it with x and xprp. If you're calculating the value for the y coordinate on the view plane, it is given as you need to use the y coordinate value of the point and the y coordinate value of the projection reference point. Other values remains the same. So remember these two equations for calculating the x and y coordinate on the viewing plane, on the view plane here. Okay, so xp is given as x into zprp minus zvp divided by zprp minus z plus x coordinate of the projection reference point into zvp minus z divided by zprp minus z. Similar equation for yp, in place of x we replace it with y, and in place of xprp we replace it with yprp. So I want all of you to note down this equation, because based on this equation we can derive 4 cases here. There are 4 cases, special cases we need to consider based upon this equation. I hope all of you have noted this equation. Let us try to understand the first case, case 1. Okay, now to simplify the perspective calculations, the projection reference point could be limited to positions along the z view axis. Okay, now to simplify the perspective calculations, so xprp and yprp can be 0 and only zprp can be considered. So, right, to simplify the perspective calculation, in case 1, the projection reference point could be limited to the positions along the z view axis. Then we need to initialize xprp and yprp equal to 0. The value of the projection coordinates of, or the x and y projection reference point coordinates, will be equals to 0. So how can we change the equation if xprp and yprp equals to 0? So both this term, so this entire term will be equal to 0, because xprp and yprp will be equal to 0. 0 into anything will be 0, so we need to consider only the first part of the addition here. So xp is given as x into zprp minus zvp divided by zprp minus z, and yp is given as y into zprp minus zvp divided by zprp minus z. So this is the first case where the x and y coordinates of the projection reference point will be equal to 0. That is in the case where the projection reference point is limited to the position along the z view axis. That is the first case. Similarly, let us proceed to the next case here. Sometimes the projection reference point is fixed at the coordinate origin. Okay, sometimes the coordinate projection reference point may be here at the view coordinate origin 0, 0, 0. xprp, yprp, zprp will be equal to 0, 0, 0. In that case, how will we change this equation? Let us go back to the equation. xprp and yprp will be equal to 0, so we need to totally remove this term from the equation, whereas zprp will also be equals to 0. So what will be the remaining term? xp will be given as x into zvp divided by z, and yvp will be y divided by zvp by z. As simple as that, right? So xp is given as x into zvp by z, and yp will be given as the product of y coordinate of a given point into z coordinate of the view plane divided by z. So this is the second case. What is the second case here? The projection reference point on the point of convergence will be the origin of the viewing coordinates. In that case, xprp, yprp, zprp will be equals to 0, 0, 0, and this will be the equation for calculating the x and the y coordinate on a given view plane along the projection path. Similarly, we have one more special case here. So that is the case 3. If the view plane is the UV plane and there are no restrictions on the placement of the projection reference point, then we have ZVP equals to 0. So if the view plane is in the UV plane, is along the x and y axis of the viewing coordinates, then there are no restrictions on the placement of the projection reference point. In that case, we have the value of the z coordinate of the view plane equals to 0. So what happens if ZVP equals 0 in this equation? So this term ZVP will be equals to 0. So how will this equation change? XP is equal to x into ZPRP by ZPRP minus Z plus XPRP into minus Z divided by ZPRP minus Z. That is how the equation changes. That is what we have here. So if the value of the ZVP coordinate or the Z coordinate of the view plane is equal to 0, that is if the view plane is in the UV plane, so this will be the equation for the x and y coordinates on the view plane. So xp is given as x into ZPRP divided by the z coordinate of the projection reference point minus z minus x coordinate of the projection reference point, that is xprp into z divided by zprp minus z. Same holds true for the y coordinate. In place of x, we replace it with y, and in place of xprp, we replace it with yprp, the y coordinate of the projection reference point. This was the case 3, where the view plane is the UV plane, and the value of ZVP will be equals to 0. Now let us try to understand the fourth case here, a special case. Now with the UV plane as the view plane and the projection reference point on the z-axis, the perspective equation can be calculated as follows. Now if the UV plane is the same as the view plane, then ZVP equals to 0 and the projection reference point is on the Z view axis. That this is a combination of case 1 and case 3, right? So in case 3 we had ZVP equals to 0, that is what we have here, and in case 1 we had XPRP and YPRP equals to 0, that is what we have here. If it's basically a combination of case 1 and case 3, if both these conditions are true, then we get one more new case, which is case 4, where XPRP and YPRP, the x and y coordinates of the projection reference point will be equal to 0. Along with that, the z coordinate of the view plane, that is ZVP, will also be equals to 0. Now if you substitute these values in these equations, how will the equations change? XP equals to x into ZPRP divided by ZPRP minus Z, and this term will be equal to 0. Same holds true for y coordinate as well. So case 4, XP is given as x into ZPRP divided by ZPRP minus Z, and YP is equal to y into ZPRP divided by ZPRP minus Z. So how do you understand these terms? So the x coordinate on the view plane is given as the x coordinate of a given point into the numerator here is the z coordinate of the projection reference point divided by the difference of the z coordinates between the projection reference point and the actual point which should be projected. Z is the z coordinate of the actual point which should be projected. ZPRP is the z coordinate of the projection reference point. This is a z coordinate where the projection paths are going to converge. Similarly, YP is equal to y coordinate of the point into ZPRP divided by ZPRP minus Z. The only change here is for XP we replace it with X. For YP, this term will be replaced with y coordinate of the given point. So these are the 4 cases. Let us quickly and go through the cases once again. So any point, if it is projected at a projection reference point XPRP, YPRP, ZPRP, the point is represented by x, y, z. Its intersection along the converging path on the view plane is represented by XP, YP, ZVP. Now we have a set of equations to compute the value of XP and YP. Now based upon these conditions, there are 3 cases. What is the first case? In first case, the value of XPRP and YPRP will be equal to 0. That is, the projection reference point is limited to the positions along the z-axis. Equivalently, we change the equation. Since XPRP and YPRP equal to 0, this entire term can be removed from the equation, right? Second case we have where the projection reference point is the origin of the viewing coordinates. In that case, what happens? We rewrite the equation to get XP equals to x into ZVP by Z, and YP is given as y coordinate of a given point into the z coordinate of the view plane divided by the z coordinate of a given point. Case 3, the value of ZVP will be equal to 0. When will the value of ZVP equal to 0? if the view plane is on the UV plane, or if it is along the UV plane. In that case, we need to rewrite the equation substituting the value for ZVP equals to 0, that is case 3, and then we have case 4, which is a special combination of case 1 and case 3. So XPRP and YPRP will be 0 along with the ZVP, which is also equals to 0. So that is the case when the UV plane is along the view plane and the projection reference point is along the Z view axis. So this will be the equations for XP and YP if XPRP, YPRP and ZVP equals to 0. So these are the 4 cases with respect to the perspective projection equations. So these questions were frequently asked in the examination. Explain the 4 cases with respect to the perspective projection equations. Right? These are the 4 special cases. Let us try to understand a bit more about the perspective projections. Okay, now if you look at this particular diagram here, what is the position of the view plane you can understand here. The view plane will be generally placed in between a given object and its projection reference point, right? If you consider any object here, if you consider this line or any other object, the view plane will generally be placed between the projection reference point and the object. But is it mandatory that the view plane should be placed between the object and the projection reference point? There is no such compulsion, right? View plane can be placed anywhere, but generally the view plane will be placed in between the object and the projection reference point. Now what happens if the projection reference point is between the given object and the view plane? Let us try to understand a special case here in this particular diagram. So you have the object here, you have the view plane here, in between the object which is placed here and the view plane which is placed here, in between these two things you have the projection reference point, which is a special case which we have not analyzed till now. Till most of the times we had the projection planes between the object and the projection reference point. Here we have a special case where the view plane is placed after the projection reference point, or the projection reference point is lying in between the object and the view plane. In such case, what happens is the object will be inverted onto the view plane. Okay, the direction of the object is going to change. It will be inverted, it will be upside down on the view plane. Do you observe that? So that is what happens if the projection reference point is placed in between the view plane and a given object. You might have heard the term called as pinhole camera. I think all of you have heard the term called as pinhole camera. So in physics, basically to understand the properties of light. So this is what happens. In pinhole camera, you get an inverted image of an object. So this is a real demonstration of this. So it's actually implemented in one of the temples in Hampi. So you might have heard about the Virupaksha temple in Hampi. So they have basically carved out a small hole on a given wall, so which projects the inverted image of the Gopuram inside the temple. You can Google it, you can understand. So how does the pinhole camera work? This is something similar to that. If the projection reference point is placed in between a given object and the view plane, the image of the object that is projected onto the view plane will be inverted. It will be upside down. So the view plane is usually placed between the projection reference point and the scene, but in general the view plane can be placed anywhere except the projection reference point. Except on this projection reference point we can place the view plane anywhere. Okay, we cannot position it on the projection reference point. So if the projection reference point is between the view plane and the scene as it is shown in this particular diagram, the objects will be inverted onto the view plane. It will be upside down or inverted on the view plane. You can observe the direction of this arrow. It was pointing up here. Now the projection on the view plane, the arrow is pointing downwards. So that is what happens if the projection reference point is placed in between the given object and the view plane. We also need to understand the distance between the object, or the distance between the projection reference point and the view plane also affects how we view a given object. Okay, so perspective effects also depend on the distance between the projection reference point and the view plane. Earlier we discussed the distance between the object and the view plane, right? So here we discuss the distance between the object and the view plane. So we also need to consider the distance between the projection reference point and the view plane as well. This will also add to the projection effects in case of perspective projection. Perspective effects also depend on the distance between the projection reference point and the view plane. If the distance between the projection reference point and the view plane is very small, the objects may appear larger. Again, if the distance is larger, we may obtain a smaller object. The projection of the object on the view plane may be smaller, and also if it is very very far from the view plane, then we can hardly distinguish between an orthographic projection and the perspective projection, as you can see in this particular diagram. So if this is a view plane and the projection reference point is very far from the view plane, in that case you can observe the projection lines are parallel here. So that is an example for orthographic projection. If the projection reference point is very very far away from the view plane, the result will be equivalent to your orthographic projection. Okay, even if it's a perspective projection, there will not be much difference between the type of view you get when compared to the orthographic projection. When is that case? When the PRP, or the projection reference point, is very very far from the view plane. If it is very close to the view plane, you get very large objects or very large projections of the objects. If the projection reference point is at some distance from the view plane, you get small projections of the objects on the view plane. If it is very very far away, the projection reference point is very very far away from a view plane, in that case it is almost equivalent to getting a orthographic projection, right? So perspective effect depends on the distance between the view plane and the projection reference point, and also the distance between the projection reference point, I mean the view plane, and the object. So two distances uh, change the way in which we can achieve the projections of a given object. One is the distance between the object and the view plane. Second is the distance between the view plane and the projection reference point. Also, if the view plane is placed after the projection reference point, or if the projection reference point is placed in between the object and the view plane, the projections on the view plane of the object will be inverted, as we have just seen in this particular example. Right? That is about the different things we need to consider whenever we are trying to project an object using the perspective projections. Now let us try to understand something called as vanishing points. Okay, so the point at which a set of projected parallel lines appears to converge is called as the vanishing point. So we have a point where all the projected parallel lines converge, the point of convergence. There's one more name for it, we call it as a vanishing point. Okay, so each set of projected parallel lines has a separate vanishing point. It's not that all the projected parallel lines have only a single vanishing point. Depending upon the view you have selected, depending upon the axis you have selected, each set of projected lines may have its own separate vanishing point. Now, for a set of lines that are parallel to one of the principal axes of an object, the vanishing point is referred to as the principal vanishing point. So for a set of lines that are parallel to one of the given principal axes, maybe x-axis, y-axis, or z-axis of a given object, the vanishing point is referred to as the principal vanishing point. So we can control the number of vanishing points, either 1, 2, or more, with the orientation of the projection plane, and the perspective projections are accordingly classified as 1 point, 2 point, and 3 point projections. So let us look at one example here. Suppose this is the cube that we want to project. Okay, let's say this is the cube that we want to project. So if you're placing the projection point with respect to the z-axis, we get 1 point perspective projection. So this is an example where the vanishing point is placed along the z-axis. Okay, this is the cube that we view using the orthogonal projection. That's something like this. So when we are looking at it from the perspective projection, you can see the edges are getting slanted. There is no parallel lines that are maintained for the edges here. The edges seem to be converging. So that is the speciality of perspective projection. Here you can clearly make out the difference between the orthogonal projection of a cube and its perspective projection. Okay, so this is an example where the vanishing point is placed along the z-axis. Okay, so it is here where all the projected parallel lines are going to converge. So this is an example for 1 point perspective projection. Okay, so this is an example for 1 point perspective projection. Similarly, if we have one vanishing point along the x-axis and one vanishing point along the z-axis, this is the view of a cube that we are going to get. This is an example for 2 point perspective projection. Have you come across these kind of cubes anywhere? Have you implemented this? If you remember, this is how we got the projections of the cube in case of the experiment number 4 in the computer graphics lab, if you remember. So this is how we viewed the cube. Okay, we got different dimensions for the different sides of a cube, some based upon the perspective that we have selected. So a cube something like this will appear in this fashion if the vanishing point is along the z-axis, that is a 1 point perspective. And if you consider 2 point perspective, taking into account a vanishing point along x-axis and one more vanishing point along y-axis, this is the view of a cube that we are going to get. So that is about the vanishing points for perspective projection. So what is a vanishing point? A vanishing point is a point where the parallel projection lines seem to converge. If they are converging, if the parallel lines are converging with respect to the, or the set of lines that are parallel to one of the principal axes for a given object, then the vanishing point is referred to as a principal vanishing point. Right? Just remember these definitions. So what is a vanishing point and what do we mean by principal vanishing point? So depending upon the perspective you have selected, depending upon the position of the vanishing point, you are going to get the corresponding views for a given object. In this case, we have taken a cube and looked at the views of the cube with respect to 1 point perspective and 2 point perspectives, right?